Some comments about Nas that got a lot of people coming at you, man. But as a New York rapper, I want to ask you, do you feel like you get your respect?
Yeah, I definitely get my respect as a New York rapper. My name is Capo. Don't let the motherfucking internet fool you, my brother. You heard?
Right from the jump, tension fills the air. New York streets are watching, fans are listening, and one question hangs over Jim Jones. Does the respect he claims actually hold up? According to public sources, his name still carries weight, but with every new statement, cracks begin to show. Capo's comments frame a stark contrast. While some rappers quietly earn respect through longevity and influence, Jim's narrative appears increasingly self-made and questioned by peers. Fans speculate that this isn't just a minor critique. It's a reflection of a deeper pattern in Jim's storytelling. Every interview, every public statement seems to spark new debates about who really shaped the Dipset era. And already, early reactions suggest that viewers are bracing for more contradictions. The question remains, can a career survive when the legend itself starts facing scrutiny?
The rockstar look. Who came up with that? You or Joel's?
The rock and roll look, that's my look. That's my look. Joel's is my little brother. I started the whole aesthetic. Wasn't nobody dressing like rock stars at all. Nowhere near the game. It wasn't thinking about it. I created that whole style and implemented it into the hip hop culture. You dig? But yeah, I set the torch up for the rock star rap look. I've always been dressing like a white boy since high school. I've been wearing motorcycle jackets and shit like that since high school. I got a different style than most.
And I know Wayne, he started dressing like that.
Yeah, we gave it to Wayne. He came to Dipset school, was with us for a whole summer. He was with Wells for a whole summer. And naturally,
it's a moment where past and present collide. Allegedly, every narrative Jim Jones shares is now being scrutinized, dissected, and compared against history. Fans are pulling up old clips, interviews, and stories from the early Dipset era, piecing together a timeline that doesn't always align with his latest claims. Online reactions suggest frustration isn't just casual, it's growing into a consensus. Harlem streets, once loyal, are reportedly shaking their heads at the constant flip-flops in Jim's stories and the deeper layer. Every time he tries to clarify or defend himself, public scrutiny intensifies. The credibility that once defined him seems to be hanging by a thread, leaving fans and fellow artists questioning what's real and what's embellished. Could this be the beginning of a shift in how Jim Jones is perceived, not just as a rapper, but as a storyteller of his own legacy?
Mimi there. You heard? Like the Thriller in Manila. Let's sell it that way. You see how Beasley and Baby Bro just did the one-on-one? You heard? You see how Beasley and Lance did? That's what I want. You heard? I want the one-up. I want smoke. I don't care about rankings, bro. I want smoke. I want smoke and I want money. You heard? A ranking never gave me $1 at all. When the ranking come with a check, then I'll be pressed about the ranking. But none of that should come with a check.
Once hailed as a defining voice of Harlem, Jim Jones now faces a barrage of critiques from both peers and fans alike. According to public sources, the debate isn't just about music, it's about legacy allegedly, the shifts in his stories, from who invented signature styles to who drove the Dipset movement, have made listeners question the accuracy of his recollections. Fans speculate that these contradictions don't merely reflect memory lapses. They signal an attempt to control the narrative around his image. The rockstar look debate has become symbolic, highlighting a deeper tension between perception and reality. Visuals of past performances and street-style comparisons make it clear that audiences are piecing together a timeline that challenges Jim's recent claims. Every claim about origin stories now carries weight, because history in hip-hop, especially Harlem's scene, isn't easily rewritten. The question lingers. If his contributions are disputed, what does that mean for the respect he once commanded?
Going around right now asking if it's Nas or Jim Jones.
What's the question?
Nas or Jim Jones?
I'm a Harlem nigga. I will never ever disrespect Nas, first and foremost. Jimmy, that's the bro. That's Uncle Jomo, but first and foremost, he need to sit his ass fuck.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Nas.
Nas or Jim Jones? Nas.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Nas.
All right. Nas or Jim Jones? Is that a serious question?
Yes, it is.
It's Nas, bro.
Well,
Jim Jones the clown. Nas or Jim Jones?
Come on. Is that a question?
Yo,
Is that a question?
hey, yo,
Nas or Jim Jones?
Come
though.
on.
I ain't say who.
yo, not
Nas
serious.
for the
All right, all right.
culture.
Nas or Jim Jones?
Said Nas or Jim Jones? Oh, Nas.
Nas or Jim Jones? Nas, I ain't gonna lie.
Let's go.
Jim Jones though. All right.
Jim Jones insists that the aesthetic, the entire rockstar rapper look, originated with him. But comments speculate that multiple voices in Harlem's scene contributed to the style over time. The tension here isn't just about fashion, it's about legacy. Every claim about pioneering a look is interpreted as staking cultural ownership. According to public sources, fans are meticulously analyzing past photos, videos, and interviews to determine whether his statements align with reality. Online reactions suggest that these stylistic claims aren't merely superficial, they're emblematic of a larger issue: credibility. As he reasserts himself as the originator, fans are reportedly skeptical, citing older footage where the style existed before he claimed it. Each explanation adds a new layer of tension, creating a narrative that feels increasingly complex and contested. The streets, it seems, are ready to question not only what he did, but how much influence he truly had. And with the internet archiving every move, every statement becomes evidence or counter-evidence.
I mean, and keep in mind that what I'm doing is for my era of music. You heard? It's a blessing that I'm still here and I'm still being able to be appreciated by the youth and the younger generation coming up. That's a super blessing right there. But when it comes to the people of my era, I want smoke. You dig? Whether they're active or inactive, I'm telling them, I want smoke. You heard? Don't care about no legendary status, none of that type of shit. None of that shit works on the street, bro. I want smoke in the booth. You heard? Who want that? Let's talk about that right now. Who want to meet me in the booth? You heard? You ain't even gotta come to the same studio. Let's be in the same building. You take A room, I take the B room. You heard? Just to make everybody feel comfortable, but I want smoke in the booth.
Jim Jones paints himself as a trendsetter whose influence extended even to other major artists. Allegedly, he claims that peers like Lil Wayne adopted styles he showcased years earlier. According to public sources, fans are dissecting these statements, comparing dates and appearances, and noticing inconsistencies. What's clear is that every anecdote Jim shares now sparks a debate over authenticity versus embellishment. Online reactions suggest growing frustration. Comments speculate that the repeated emphasis on who influenced whom is overshadowing his musical legacy. Each new claim is another spark, pushing fans to pull up older material and confront the narrative he's presenting. The underlying tension isn't just personal pride, it's about the public record, which now has more evidence than ever. As these disputes unfold, a larger question emerges. When your influence is challenged, can storytelling alone sustain your credibility?
Being honest, right? And you looking back at your career, where will you rank yourself among New York rappers? Top 10, top 15, top 20?
Where did I rank myself? I don't care about top 10 ranks. I care about the money. You heard? And you talking about all these artists that came in after me. I came in after them, Rob, you heard? And I started as a hype man. And right now I am the hype man, as you can see all over the internet. Big difference, you heard? I'm talking about present day and what we're doing right now. I ain't worried about what's going on in the past. I don't worry about what you used to do or what you used to do. What can you do right now? You heard? And if you're not in it, you're not in it. You dig? But I'm in it wholeheartedly. And I wrap circles around anybody who beg to differ. Tell them meet me in the booth. That's all we got to talk about. There ain't no shot at no one in particular person. But yeah, you know what's up? I'm from that era. Engagement era. You heard?
What's striking here is the rapid-fire cycle of interviews. Allegedly, every appearance Jim Jones makes now seems to fuel scrutiny rather than resolve it. Public sources report that each confident claim, intended to reinforce his legacy, often leads fans and peers to counter with old clips and contrasting accounts. The narrative tension grows because these contradictions aren't minor. They challenge the very foundation of how his role in Dipset is remembered. Fans speculate that this pattern, speak, retract, defend, contradict, has created a perception of instability. Rather than strengthening his position, each round of interviews reportedly adds to the perception that he's struggling to control the narrative. And for the audience, the tension isn't just about ego, it's about history itself. The question starts to emerge. If you keep rewriting your story, at what point do the streets start rewriting your reputation for you?
I mean, if we looking at the rappers from your era, it's not many left that's rapping at a high level.
All right, well, then yeah.
Jada, he's still here. He still got something left in the tank.
Jada,
Fab,
nice.
he's still spitting.
Fab is one of my favorite rappers of all time. He's absolutely dumb nice. Like on another level. Niggas really listen to Fab music, that nigga go crazy. Like that nigga is, from a New York standpoint, like that. Like, you dig? So every place have their own music, you heard? I'm just coming from a New York standpoint, a tri-state area standpoint. We got our own thing and our own bop out here that we all appreciate and shit like that, you know what I mean? So we appreciate our New York rappers because there's a certain sound, it's just that.
Jim Jones' claim of being the sole architect of Dipset's movement didn't land as intended. Allegedly, fans and peers immediately pointed out contradictions, resurfacing decades-old footage and interviews that paint a more collaborative picture. According to public sources, the internet became a digital archive, scrutinizing every statement and comparing it against historical evidence. Online reactions suggest that this wasn't just casual disagreement. Comments speculate that these challenges reveal a deeper pattern, repeated claims that amplify his role while diminishing others' contributions. Each resurfaced clip weakens the narrative he is trying to construct, creating a tension-filled narrative where history and memory clash. And as the receipts circulate, the question lingers: can anyone maintain control of a legacy once the crowd starts fact-checking it in real time?
What would you say to the people that say when Dipset was at their peak and it mattered most, you wasn't a good rapper? It was all about Cam and Joel's. They was the best rappers in the group.
Who cares about that? What the fuck did you talk about? That's what I don't understand. That makes no sense. At Dipset peak, he wasn't where he at right now. Well, shit, I'm where I'm at right now. I got better. You heard? Most people been in this game as long as I've been in the game and not here anymore. At all. They way gone. They can't compete. Not on this level. At all. I can compete at the top level right now. Period. Against anybody. Especially from my era group. I spank they boots. I don't care who you put in the booth with me. And I got the money to back it. Right now, tonight. That's the difference. Don't play no games. Tell them bring 100 tonight. Whoever it is. They're not gonna come, bro. They know I'm vicious. I'm not one to play with when it comes to doing music.
Here's where context changes everything. Allegedly, Cameron played a pivotal role in Jim's early exposure, providing both support and opportunities that helped elevate Dipset. According to public sources, resurfaced videos of Cameron explaining this sparked a wave of fan discussion, highlighting the contributions of others that Jim often omits in his recent narratives. Fans speculate that this revelation adds tension to Jim's ongoing narrative. The very person who helped establish his career is now seen as correcting the story. Each clip reminds audiences that influence and credit in hip-hop are rarely the work of one individual. It also underscores why credibility matters, because when someone like Cameron sets the record straight, the narrative Jim tries to control begins to unravel. The streets are watching, and the question grows: how long can someone reshape their history before it reshapes them instead?
Feeling that, you know what I mean, that we get from certain rappers and things like that. And Fab is one of them, Jada is one of them, Fat Joe is one of them. Whenever JB jumping back out, he one of them, like, you dig, like. But some of these people lost their rhythm and they cadence, you dig, like they still stuck where they was at, you heard, and people be getting confused, like, you dig, I ain't even gonna get into it. But like I said, I want smoke. Only way to shut me up is to shut me up. Show me I'm bugging.
You think you can go bar for bar with Jada, Fab, or Jay-Z?
I go to bar with anyone. With anyone. You heard? There ain't no beating around the bush. I've been saying it, bro. I want smoke in the booth. You heard? That's the only way to settle this one. We all can put out dope freestyles. We all can put out dope music. I want smoke in the booth.
This moment became a turning point. Allegedly, every time Jim asserts that he created Dipset, it triggers a backlash, with fans resurfacing multiple sources showing he joined an already active movement. Public sources confirm that peers like Cameron and Mace have consistently offered detailed accounts that contrast with Jim's narrative, reinforcing a sense of inconsistency. Fans speculate that these repeated shifts in storytelling have a cumulative effect, gradually eroding his credibility. Each version of events, every minor contradiction, reinforces the narrative that Jim's public image may be more constructed than factual. The bigger picture emerges. When your peers' testimonies are clear, consistent, and widely documented, the audience begins to measure the truth not by your words, but by the evidence. And as history catches up, it forces the question, is Jim Jones controlling the narrative, or is it finally controlling him? From this point, the tension only intensified. Fans and peers weren't just critiquing a single statement, they were watching a pattern unfold. Every new interview, every podcast appearance became a test of credibility. Allegedly, the more Jim spoke, the more cracks appeared in the narrative he'd spent decades constructing. According to public sources, the internet began to track each version of his story, creating a layered timeline that highlighted inconsistencies in ways that interviews alone could never contain. It was a digital record of contradictions, and it moved faster than any PR strategy could keep up with. Reactions grew more visceral when longtime collaborators subtly weighed in. Mace, for instance, reportedly framed the situation in terms that were both playful and pointed. Yet the underlying message was clear. Jim's storytelling no longer matched the collective memory of the group comment sections and social feeds lit up with speculation, screenshots, and clips that juxtaposed Jim's recent claims against archived footage. Each resurfaced moment served as a quiet rebuke, a reminder that the streets and the culture at large have long memories. Fans, reportedly, were no longer willing to give the benefit of the doubt. Online reactions suggest a sense of fatigue, as if the audience itself had grown weary of trying to reconcile the discrepancies. Meanwhile, the cultural impact rippled outward. Jim's attempts to position himself as a central, defining figure in Harlem hip-hop history were increasingly contested by the very people who had witnessed the evolution of the scene firsthand. According to public sources, this wasn't a simple case of ego. Fans speculate it reflected a deeper tension between narrative control and collective memory. Every new anecdote, whether about stylistic influence, musical innovation, or interpersonal conflict, was now interpreted through a lens of accountability. The stakes weren't just personal pride. They were about the integrity of Harlem's history and the authenticity of its voices. As the debate unfolded online, it also revealed a generational shift. Younger fans and emerging artists, reportedly, began viewing Jim differently, not just as a veteran figure, but as someone whose credibility could be questioned. While respect for his past contributions remained, online discussions indicate that his current influence over trends, style, and hip-hop conversation had waned. According to public sources, this shift created a subtle irony. A man who once represented Harlem's energy now faced skepticism from those who had grown up admiring his work. Visuals circulated showing new Harlem artists performing with styles and energy the streets had come to associate with Dipset. Yet without the direct involvement of Jim Jones, fans speculated openly that influence doesn't always follow reputation. Compounding this perception were the recurring instances where Jim attempted to clarify disputes or mend tensions with peers. Allegedly, these efforts often had the opposite effect, reinforcing contradictions rather than resolving them. According to public sources, casual comments framed as reconciliation were juxtaposed against past statements in ways that highlighted inconsistencies. Comment sections filled with observations such as, "He says one thing today, something else tomorrow," signaling a growing disconnection between intent and perception. Fans speculated that the more he attempted to steer the narrative, the more visible the misalignment became. Another layer of tension emerged when evaluating his relationship with the broader hip-hop community. While Jim has undeniably shaped aspects of Harlem's music scene, online reactions suggest that audiences and fellow artists alike are scrutinizing the authenticity of current claims. Allegedly, interviews that emphasize dominance or influence in the present moment are increasingly met with historical evidence that contradicts them. According to public sources, these contradictions aren't malicious attacks. They are the natural result of a documented career. And for viewers, the stakes are both cultural and symbolic. The accuracy of Jim's story impacts how Harlem hip-hop history is remembered beyond a single voice, and recorded for future generations. Irony has become a recurring motif in this narrative. Jim's repeated insistence on legacy and authority often collides with the tangible memory of peers and documented events. Public sources report that fans are now constructing detailed timelines, collating interviews, archival footage, and social media posts, all to trace where claims diverge from reality. These timelines demonstrate a subtle but undeniable erosion of authority, not because of external criticism alone, but because consistency and accountability have become benchmarks for credibility in the digital age. Allegedly, no number of viral interviews or attention-grabbing statements can fully counteract the documented record when it is so widely accessible. Throughout this unfolding story, the emotional weight remains palpable. Fans speculate not from malice, but from a desire for honesty and fidelity to Harlem's musical heritage. Each contradictory statement carries consequences beyond Jim Jones as an individual. It touches on the collective memory of a scene that once relied on his authenticity to validate its narrative. Reportedly, the discussion has sparked a broader conversation about how hip-hop communities remember, validate, and contest their own histories. Online forums, social media, and comment sections reflect a cultural reckoning, highlighting the importance of truth in storytelling. As Jim's public statements continue, reportedly, a pattern of reactive commentary emerges. Rather than being proactive, each claim triggers instant evaluation by an attentive audience. Allegedly, the immediacy of digital scrutiny makes every interview a moment of risk. According to public sources, these dynamics illustrate a modern tension in hip-hop. Longevity alone doesn't guarantee narrative control when evidence, memory, and peer testimony converge online. The result is an ongoing cycle where claims must be weighed against public record, and where reputation hinges as much on perception as on past achievements. Despite this scrutiny, Jim Jones remains a figure of influence. Allegedly, his early contributions, energy, and persistence are still respected, and public sources confirm that many acknowledge his role in shaping Harlem's sound. Yet, online reactions suggest that admiration is now tempered by critical assessment. Fans speculate that this dual perception, respect for accomplishments paired with skepticism of current claims, illustrates a delicate balance in celebrity culture, where influence is inseparable from accountability and legacy is inseparable from consistency. The tension itself becomes part of the story, adding depth, intrigue, and cultural resonance. In these circumstances, Jim's attempts to narrate his legacy have become performative, according to public sources, not in a negative sense, but as a reflection of heightened audience attention. Each statement is dissected, archived, and referenced, creating a feedback loop where intention and reception often diverge. Visual cues circulating online, archival videos, comment threads, and reaction compilations underscore the stakes. Even decades-long careers can face sudden, intense public scrutiny when the stories told today are compared to the records of yesterday. Allegedly, this is a reminder of how history and memory operate in tandem within hip-hop culture. The cultural fallout extends further. Fans speculate that when a figure as prominent as Jim Jones repeatedly faces scrutiny, it reshapes the way audiences interpret not only his work, but the work of contemporaries and successors alike. Public sources report that these conversations are no longer limited to casual discussion. They have become part of the historical record, influencing how Harlem's evolution and Dipset's legacy are perceived by new generations. The weight of accountability has grown heavier, and the streets, as ever, remain vigilant. Amid all this, one thread stands out: the paradox of influence versus credibility. Jim's early achievements gave him authority, but the ongoing inconsistencies have created a tension between past accomplishments and present claims. Allegedly, fans are no longer passive observers. They are active participants in constructing the narrative, using digital archives and social memory as tools of verification. The stakes, therefore, are both personal and cultural. How one tells their story can define not just reputation, but the legacy of an entire scene. At this point, it's clear that Jim Jones's story has transformed from individual narrative to cultural case study. Allegedly, the lessons are multifaceted. Historical memory, accountability, and authenticity are more powerful than publicity cycles, and audiences today are prepared to evaluate statements critically using the breadth of digital evidence at their disposal. Comment sections, social feeds, and reaction videos serve as a living audit of credibility, illustrating that in modern hip-hop, truth is not just remembered, it is continuously verified. And in this climate, the stakes of storytelling are higher than ever before. The culmination of these dynamics paints a vivid picture. Jim Jones, once untouchable in the eyes of Harlem's community, now navigates a landscape where influence is continually measured against accountability. Allegedly, the cultural implications are profound. A figure who once defined a scene is now learning that maintaining respect requires consistency, honesty, and the humility to let peers' voices also be heard. Fans speculate that this is not a fall from relevance, but a moment of reckoning, a chance to reconcile ego with historical truth, and to understand that legacy cannot be claimed alone. And finally, the narrative closes with a reflective tension. Jim Jones's ongoing efforts, repeated public statements, and the resulting scrutiny underscore the delicate balance between ambition, influence, and accountability. According to public sources, the story is still unfolding, yet it already highlights a crucial lesson for anyone navigating legacy in a digital age. Credibility is earned, maintained, and sometimes lost in the spaces between words, memories, and evidence. And don't go anywhere. Click the next video you see on your screen for even more juicy celebrity chaos, betrayals, and stories Hollywood doesn't want you to know. See you in the next one.